My name is Malhotra. I'm going to present teaching approaches for learner success. This is part A, and here I'm going to talk about two teaching and learning approaches. The first one is information focused approach, and the second one is self directed focused approach. The first approach, I'm going to first explain the key features, which is flexibility, better clarity, understanding of the student is verified, self-practice by the learner is also encouraged. The theory on which it is based is called teachers directed instruction. The three good practices for this approach is that the student knows what to expect, encourages the student to have active thinking about the subject, the understanding is verified, self-practice by the student is also encouraged. It promotes successful learning as this approach covers all phases of learning. However, it has some limitations. It will succeed only if the course is designed well, and it makes students to lose their initiative because everything is organized by the tutor. I'll give an example. This approach is good because it fulfills the principle of ACO, which means sharing knowledge in Maori language. It is suitable for the subject I'm teaching, which is global business management, where the students come from diverse culture. In my class, students go through three phases of sharing knowledge, which is goal fixing, guided lessons, self-practice, which is based on this approach. Now I'll move on to the second approach, which is self-directed focused approach. The four key features of this approach are high level of self-activity, self-learning, which makes the learners self-reliant. Third is suitable to learn new knowledge, and the fourth is learner becomes productive. The theory on which it is based is known as student-centered learning. The three good practices for this approach are: 1. Keeping diaries and logs of learners' progress. 2. Creating concept maps or cheat sheets. And third is learning through own belief and self-experience of the learner. This approach is successful in learning because the approach involves contribution by the teacher as well as it combines the learner's own initiative to improve knowledge. The limitation of this approach is that it will work only if the learners respond to self-reflection, and it will not work if the students do research but they do in a shallow manner. The example on limitation which I give here is that there was a study done on racial and cultural biases. The outcome was, as expected, the learners gave the research which was shallow, and afterwards no questions were asked by anyone, and the reflection was not challenged by the other learners, which makes this approach ineffective if it's not done properly. When we compare the two approaches, the information approach as well as self-directed approach, both are based on mastery learning approach, whereas the information approach is teacher-based instructions and self-directed approach is student-centered learning. The information approach involves three phases of learning: goal fixing, guided lessons, and self-practice. Self-directed approach is through own beliefs and experience of the learner. Thus, to conclude, the two learning approaches which we identified, if they are followed in a combination, in a collaborative manner, they are very effective. The features, good practices, and limitations were considered. Comparison was made of the two approaches, and if they are used in combination, it helps the students to go deeper into learning approaches. Thus, the goal and the learning outcome of this investigation has been achieved. Hooray!